Hello, hello, minions. I don't know why I called you minions. I just felt for it, I think. It's Bazoo's fault. He's talking bullshit in my chat. Calling my channel a wrong channel, I'm not really sure what that's about. My channel is very, very right. Yes. How's it going for you meters? Just devoured a pound of roasted pork. Yeah, it's going sort of well. I'm trying something new again. I'm always trying something new. I'm like this fucking mad scientist that never gives up. I just keep trying shit. Um, what is it? It's I don't know if you guys know about turkey tail mushroom. It's supposed to be really good for your immune system and stuff, and it's also supposed to have a good effect on fungus like candida and stuff. And I told you that I've tried to take borax for it, and I'm getting a Hoech's reaction, which means that I get these. If I take too much, after a little bit, it kind of builds up, and I get these bumps on my skin, and then start itching. But the last time I tried, I also got headaches, and not massive headaches, but just kind of clingy ones that were there every day. And I was like taking turkey tail mushroom, and I've taken 2 pills per day, and I have this low grade headache that doesn't seem to want to go away. And I got like fucking pimples. I never have pimples. So I think the same thing is happening, and I'm not really sure what to do about this. So yeah, if I'm kind of a little bit like meh, it's because my head isn't right, and I hate when my head isn't right. It's so annoying. And then I try to coach myself through it. I know how to do it. But sometimes I just want to let that frustration out and be annoyed about it. Oh, crap, a smiley cancels all text. I hate YouTube. Yes, it does that for me, and it freaks me out. Very often, I mean, even on my channel, when I'm commenting on my channel, when I have my premieres and I write something, and if I end the sentence with a smiley, it just like removes all the text. But only when I tag people in it, I think. So I have to first post the text and then the smiley. I can't do it in the same. It just freaking yeah. Okay. It seems like we're all in the same freaking boat. You share my frustrations. It's so nice. The wrong channel was meant as a lame joke regarding "huzzah" is a phrase used by Ken Berry in his Q&A. Yeah, I know you weren't actually meaning the wrong channel. It was just funny. Jim, 2 minutes of dusters again. I mean, you're close to being on time, so it's kind of fine. What do you guys want to talk about today? Or are you just here to hijack the chat and have a good time, which is fine as well, I suppose. Miss Hippie, turkey tail grows wild here I live. They're pretty. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have it here in New Zealand as well, but I'm thinking like next time I go for a longer walk, I might just go off track a little bit and see if I can find some. I don't even know what they taste like. I kind of like mushrooms, so it wouldn't be a problem. And I think they're so distinct that even I would be able to pick the right ones. I don't know. I don't know what they're called in English, but as the normal kind of standard mushrooms that you get in the supermarket, they look very much like a super toxic one that we have in Sweden. So I have never dared like go out and pick mushrooms like that. But I think the turkey tail mushroom is probably very distinct, so I wouldn't have to worry about getting the wrong mushroom. But as a kid, I was fascinated by all of those things. I had like a book about fish, I had a book about mushrooms, I had like all these books about some sort of wildlife or plants or whatever. Not plants, actually, it was just the mushrooms, I think. And I was really fascinated by it, and I was kind of reading everything and looking at the pictures. So it's not like I've never seen mushrooms, but just because I knew so much, it always freaked me out. Like looking at two things, and they're very, very similar and just very distinct differences. I'm thinking that's really, really easy to get it wrong, and then poof, you're dead. So I have like mushroom trauma. Is there such a thing? Probably. I think people probably think about the mushroom high, but that shouldn't really be traumatic necessarily. Yes, the white button mushrooms. Yeah. In Sweden, we call them champinjoner, and I think they're champignons or something. I don't know. It's probably they probably do have another name than white button mushrooms. We need to hear more of you in the limbic training talks from Jonathan Pym. Scott took way too much screen time. You know what? We were so many people on there, and Annabelle wanted to cut in, and Scott was talking, and I was like, I'll just sit back. It's too. I don't know if you. I know Jonathan did so much work on cleaning the audio up, but when someone is talking, and if someone else's microphone is like a little bit further away, it cuts out. So when everyone wants to talk, I'm just like, I'll let you talk until you ask me to talk. That's my style. It makes it less messy. I might have to come back and do a solo talk or something. And I'm here talking now. So if you have any questions about the limbic training, just ask me. I take turkey tail, reishi, psilocybin, lion's mane, and cordyceps. Yeah, send me some psilocybin. They will get stuck in customs, but yeah, that would be fun. And I know that those kind of mushrooms, they grow here as well, but I'm not sure if they would look like anything that is kind of dangerous to eat, so I'm not sure I would dare to actually pick them. Unless I could see the blue shimmer of the psilocybin actually hanging off of them. That's all I know, like when they're really full of it, they're kind of blue. But we have, I think there are many different mushrooms, magic mushrooms with that on. So I don't know what type we have here, but I do know that we have them. Maybe I have to get some mushroom friends, go mushroom hunting. I did text, smiley, text, no tags, still all went down the drain. Yeah. I feel you. I feel your pain and frustration more of all. Question: do you ever have a feeling of impending doom? Since having some big family problems the last few months, I randomly have all will go to shit moments that occur randomly when my brain is empty. I mean, impending doom might be a little bit strong for what I feel, maybe, but I mean, I don't know what happened, and this might also be related to my gut and what the turkey tail is doing, and to all the other symptoms because I've been very tired as well, and I think that comes with the headache. And there might be something going on with my gut flora when that happens as well. But yesterday, I felt okay in the morning, I think, and then towards the evening, I just started to feel really, really like depressed. Like, what's the point of everything? And then I wake up and I feel better. So it's just, I think it's just life as well. But I think the impending doom thoughts or like everything will go to shit is just, I mean, it's just your brain trying to protect you. So it thinks that if it brings that up and you're prepared, then you will be fine when everything goes to shit. So we kind of live it before it has happened so that we won't be surprised when it happens. So we take on all of those negative emotions beforehand to try and sort of soften the blow, which obviously will not happen. If you hadn't been thinking about it and it would just be like a shock to the system, yeah, it would be a shock, but I don't think that you would be suffering more. So it's kind of funny. But I think everyone has those kind of things going on because that's just how your brain is wired. It will bring up worst case scenarios. Some people's brains always do that with everything, and other people's brains only do it in certain situations. So for you, it's like, oh my God, there's family problems. And your brain is like, oh, okay, all of this could happen. And that would mean like the world's going on there. So I think it's completely normal. And as long as you're not stuck there, as long as it's like going up and down and you actually do have some joyful thoughts every now and then, or thoughts of a brighter future or whatever, I think you're fine. Otherwise, you will probably have to sort of redirect your brain on purpose and start thinking about, okay, what could actually go right here? What else is actually good right now? And just focus on the things that are good, because there are good things as well. It's never, the truth is never that everything is shit. The truth is that some things are shit, some things are actually great. We just need to open our eyes to the things that are great and start appreciating them. Can't eat them like culinary mushrooms. They are very hard. Have to grind them up or brew them like tea. All right. Yeah. Yes. I don't know how much you would put in tea, but I guess I'll figure that out if I have to do it. If I can find it, it would be fun. I haven't picked mushrooms since I lived in Sweden, and then for not many years. And I haven't lived in Sweden for 15 years, so probably like 25 years or something. It's crazy. Yes. Champignoner in Austria as well. Good Austrians. Okay, sometimes they call bolitas white button. I haven't heard that one. Also, a lot of health issues amongst family members, so I can emphasize with this sense. Yeah. It's really, I mean, health issues with family is really kind of, it's difficult to deal with because you wish that you could change something that you can't change. And yeah, it has a lot to do with just managing your mind around that. And it's never an easy thing to do. And we don't want to change that into something positive necessarily, but there's always an upside to everything, whatever that might be. Or sometimes we can't see that, and that's okay. Like when someone gets a really bad disease and they're going to die, and maybe we can't see the upside, but maybe we can just get to a place where we can accept that is the reality at the same time as we're trying to do something about it. It's really, I mean, it's not something that you do in 5 minutes, and sometimes it's okay to just be fucking upset about things. Excuse my French. I don't know why I'm swearing today. Just got into swear mode. Speaking of which, I have an interview coming up in May. I think it's scheduled for mid-May, so it will probably come out later part of May. I found this is a guy. He is an ex-heroin everything addict, like literally everything addict. He is now a therapist working with people who have addictions of all kinds, including food addiction, I think. And he's doing a lot of trauma work. He's working through trauma to heal addiction. So I wanted to interview him, and I heard him on another podcast, and the way he thinks about things is so amazing, and it's so fun to hear him say that. This interview isn't out yet, but I did an interview last week with Claire from Beyond the Scale again, so she will post that soon, I guess. And at the end of that interview, she was kind of amazed that I say that, you can retrain your brain so that you're no longer an addict and you can eat whatever foods you want in moderation. And she said something along the lines of, okay, that's amazing, but you can't do that with other addictions like drugs and alcohol. And I asked her, are you sure about that? Because I know people who do the same sort of thing that I do with alcohol. I don't know anyone who does it with drugs. However, this guy that I'm going to interview, who's actually, he's a therapist. He has gone through the education to actually work with people as a therapist and trauma, early childhood trauma, etc., whatever trauma there is. So he's very educated. He knows what he's doing. He's working in a very safe way. And he said that he had, in the beginning, he had been part of the 12 steps And this is my criticism against 12 steps. I'm not saying that it doesn't work, but I don't think it's the best approach because it just puts you in a different kind of prison. And he was saying that he is not doing abstinent-based recovery. And I was like, oh my God. I found a therapist who's working with all sorts of addicts, drug addicts, everything. And he's all for not doing full abstinence. And he sees himself as he doesn't have a drug problem anymore. He has done mushrooms, I think he said. I'm gonna ask him about this, as like for healing in a different environment, not to have the trip, but to actually go through his own trauma, and it has helped him. So depending on how you're looking at the substance that you're using, you will get a different result. So I'm so fucking excited about having him on my channel, and I don't even know if an hour is gonna even scratch the surface of everything I want to ask him. And I feel like, yes, here is a person who is actually a really like hardcore ex-drug addict. I think he said he's been in rehab 17 times and failed before he addressed his trauma and changed the way he was thinking about it. So just putting someone in rehab is not helping. And he's working with people the same freaking way that I'm working with people. And so that's just kind of further reinforcing that this shit is working. When you rewire your brain properly, it's going to happen. So yeah, I'm so super excited about him having said yes to coming on, and I can't wait to actually do that interview. Unfortunately, I have to wait for 6 weeks or 7 weeks or whatever until we can do the interview, but it's going to be amazing. I have so many questions. So if you have any other questions that you were wondering about, just send them to me and I'll work them into the interview. Might have to interview him for like 5 hours and do 5 episodes or something. Yeah, you can tell I'm a little bit excited about it because no one's talking about it. Everyone's talking about being abstinent 100% of the time. That's the way that you recover. And I don't believe that that is even the best. I mean, if it works for you and you want to do that, fine, but it doesn't give you the freedom that you get when you're actually working through it and you change the way that you think and the way that your brain is actually firing off those neural pathways. Like, where was I? I was on part 2 here. Whenever I get a call or mail from work or a text message or problem arises, I immediately have a bad feeling in the gut until my brain sorts it out. Guess it's training to manage challenges. Yeah. So that immediate thing is just your fight and flight system getting activated straight away. And then you read it and you engage the prefrontal cortex and you're like, it's not a problem. It's not a threat. And this is the solution. This is what I'm going to do. Yes, train your eyes to see the good. 1 gram plus trip, yeah. Excellent. And 0.25 to 5.5 grams, nice microdose tea. Sweet. Yeah, I'm not gonna go and pick any of those mushrooms because I wouldn't even recognize them, I don't think. But that would be cool. I shall keep that in mind, or I'll ask you again. I know where to find you. That sounds awesome. People that went through stuff always have the most pure take on those topics. Yeah. Hey everyone, time sure flies when you're making bone broth. I hope you're not standing there and staring at the bone broth, because that could be a long stare. Mushrooms made me quit weed out of nowhere. Amazing, isn't it? Yeah, I would like to do like the I don't think they do it in this country, but in some countries they do have the psychedelic mushrooms, or sometimes they do MDMA or whatever, like the at treatment centers to just kind of bring shit up and get people to overcome shit. I don't think I have anything huge that I need to overcome right now, but I think I would get a lot out of such a thing anyway. I would love to do that. Don't think it's possible here though. I still have a lot of mind worms that are not really beneficial for me. Isn't the 12-step based on it's not my fault because it's out of my reach? Taking responsibility is a huge aspect in my opinion. I have never done the 12 steps, so I'm just talking from what I have heard, but it's kind of like a bit faith-based, that you just have to accept that there is, like, as you say, like, there's another power there. And what I like, the way that they take responsibility is by being 100% abstinent. And what I hate about that is that if you fuck up one time, which everyone is going to do, I think that's part of recovery, you're back to step one. You have to start counting from zero. And it breaks my heart when people come into my program and they have done 12 steps before, and they think, oh my God, I fell off and now I have to start over from the beginning. I'll never get to 100 allowed cravings. That's not how it works, because we're retraining the brain. It's like you go into the gym and you're training a muscle. Just because you took a day off doesn't mean that that muscle isn't going to grow. Like, all the hard work that you put in is still going to count. It doesn't take anything away. So this thinking is just not helpful, but even more so, it's I think there is very little understanding for any other approach, or like, it has to be this way or you have failed. It's like they don't build any trust in themselves when they go through it. It's like abstinence or you're a failure. It's not like, yes, you can learn to do whatever you want. I like to encourage people and lift people up and help people realize what power they actually have when they're doing these things. And I think that is missing. And from what I've heard as well, I mean, it works for a lot of people, which is great, but it's a little bit cult-like. If you want to get out of it, it's like no one will talk to you anymore. They just drop you, because then you're not part of that anymore. So it's like either you follow the rules or we're not going to be friends with you. And I think that's not great. It's not great for anyone, for the confidence, or for, if you want to leave, you're going to be left on your own and we're never going to talk to you again. Like, we don't care about you anymore. That just tells me that you never cared about me. And I fucking care about people. I would never do that to anyone. Hi, Soren. I can't wait to watch the interview. Yes, me too. I'm so gonna watch it, because when I'm interviewing someone, I always have a different experience than when I'm watching it. It's like when I'm interviewing, I'm listening to what they're saying, and my brain is also working on like, what things am I wondering about? What do I need to remember? What do I want to ask them next? And then I think I miss a lot of context, or I miss a lot of what they're actually saying. So when I'm watching an interview back, I actually hear things again in a different way, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, you guys should break it down and make a series. I would love to do that. This is like the gold pot at the end of Addiction. Do 10 hours and a PowerPoint, please. Yes, the gold pot. Yeah. But the thing is that gold pot is probably so much closer and within reach than many people think. So many people are like joining my program and they are like, well, do I have to do the exception challenge? And I'm like, have is probably a bit strong, but like, do you want to just fix this problem and like know what to do when you have cravings, so that you don't have to do it and then be scared of the food for the rest of your life because you didn't want to do one exception challenge? Like a challenge that can increase your confidence and your belief in yourself and your ability to do it, and at the same time decondition your brain to the food that you're doing it with. I mean, why would you not do that? And the only reason is that they're scared that they're not going to be able to do it. But once they've done it, they realize that, oh, I am able to do it. And then that fear is gone. And you can just go on and you can actually start trusting yourself. And I think this is a huge part of why this works so well, is that we do reintroduce things that you're scared of. The only time I would be not wanting to do it might be if someone is super sensitive to all food and it would make them really, really sick physically. Then I would say, hey, okay, yeah, maybe not do it now. Let's get you well first and then you can do it. But I still think that everyone should be doing it for their own good at some point. Still trying to fix constipation, which I knew the magic to change it. Well, to try some turkey tail mushrooms worked for me. And I'm not constipated. In my country, they say the sum of all lies in a person is constant. Well, I'm not sure I like that. Why would we think that anything is constant? That's one of the things that sort of disempowers you and holds you back from actually taking action that will make you change. Because we can do whatever we want to do. I am 100% not the same person that I was when I was 20. I might have similar values and I might have similar ideas and I might care about people just as much. But at the same time, I'm more mindful when I'm speaking. I've always been one to kind of like just speak my mind, and the things that could like pop out of my mouth when I was young wasn't always kind, because my brain was just like, I'm just going to speak the truth. But the truth can be put in different clothes. We don't have to just throw it out there in the worst fucking way possible. Holy shit, really? Walmart ground lamb goes straight through me in 30 minutes to an hour. That's very, very odd. Wonder if it's just been sitting for so long it has some bacteria that you're not doing well with or whatever. Unfortunately, the limbic classes are when I'm at work, and most of the ones I missed are no longer available. Well, we're going to change the availability of the replays, Jim. So I'm not entirely sure about why we did the 1 week when we started doing that. It was just decided that it was going to be 1 week. I think the thinking behind that is that a lot of people are going to be in there we don't want to overwhelm people. So if you don't have like a backup of 3 weeks that you feel like I need to watch all of them, we'll just help you to not feel overwhelmed. But we're going to change that, and they're going to be available for a month or something like that. We're still talking about different solutions, but I think for the next month or so, they're still going to be on YouTube, and I'll go and check them, and I'll go and unprivate them. So if you want to rewatch any of them, Jim, just go to the link in the email, and I'll make them available for the rest of the month. I'll do that in a few hours because I have 2 calls right after this. Unless we finish early, then I might have time to do it before. Sounds like 75 hard. If you did it for 11 months and fail one day, you have to repeat the entire year. Sounds horrible with that mindset. Yeah, I'm not supportive of that at all. Yes, okay, yes, I agree with you, yes. I have no idea what the yes is about, but I shall agree. Question, do you find a drug and alcohol addiction go hand in hand with food addiction? Some people. I think the thing is that, so the guy that I'm talking about, his name's Matt. I mean, he was like, it's like if you are completely off track, you are buying drugs, which is very expensive, and maybe you don't have anywhere to live, and you just kind of totally consumed in that way. For most people who are addicted to food, it's not the same consequences. But you're putting yourself in a situation that is so bad that if you can't get your hands on one drug, you will just get another one. And that's how you just start getting addicted to anything, because you will do anything to try and get some sort of dopamine release and feel a little bit better. I think I see a lot of people who are addicted to food who also like alcohol, because they're both kind of legal. It's easy to get your hands on, and they are easy to do together as well, if you like. I don't know if I wouldn't say that. I mean, a food addict, someone who's addicted to food, I don't think they are necessarily going to be more susceptible to drugs than someone else. I think we all have the tendency to become addicted. And what we choose to be addicted to is a lot of the time a matter of taste. I think with some drugs that release a lot of dopamine, especially really heavy drugs, I think most of the time there is some like massive childhood trauma in the back of that. And I don't think that is necessarily true for everyone who's addicted to food. But I also think that every single freaking person on earth has some sort of trauma. And I think trauma is just a spectrum. It's like really bad or not so bad at all. But I think everyone has it to some degree because a lot of shit is happening in the world. And try to grow up without having any of that happening to you, I think that's almost impossible. So let's say that someone, I mean, I don't think that every food addict will have, sorry, every drug addict will have a problem with food or even develop it when they're quitting. But it's really easy to swap between things. And a lot of the time, people who swap from like stop alcohol or cigarettes, something that is legal, they will just start eating. So I think it's more a behavior, a learned behavior that you will want to impose on something that suits you, whatever that is. I drank regularly during COVID because I believe it reminded me of the party times with friends, aka a coping mechanism for social interaction during the lockdowns. So feeling not food in my case, yeah. Exactly. So that's just like whatever you want to do to avoid feeling negative emotions. You're like, smoke, drink, doesn't matter, I'll just take it. And for me, I would never drink. It doesn't matter. I can feel super depressed or whatever. I would never feel for drinking because I don't like alcohol and I don't like the effect that alcohol gives me. I just feel really freaking sleepy. It doesn't do anything for me. And the same thing, I would never smoke or do any of those things. It doesn't appeal to me. The only things, I said it before, two things that I do. Either I want sugar or I want to overeat in general, or play computer games. Those are the things that I kind of like distracting myself. So that's where my brain goes. So that's what I need to keep an eye on. Say hi to Miss Pagan. Yes, you go and do that. I shall unprivate them for you guys because I think we decided that we're going to do it for a month anyway. So we shall do that. 35 years of chronic constipation worsened by carnivore 80% diet. Have you tried some magnesium stuff as well? Okay, seems like you found a solution to that plague. Okay, all good then. Yes, Steph, that was me. Ice mockers to dodge emotions. What was it you said when you said, oh, maybe... So Steph was in the February challenge, and I can't even remember. You said you wanted to work on procrastination. You were like, maybe next time I'll work on coffee. And then I challenged you on that. Like, what are you, like, why are you avoiding it? And then she actually started cutting the coffee out and she's still working on it, I think. And Steph is drinking so much coffee. So, like, if you do, just go really, really slow. Give yourself several months to actually cut it out because otherwise you're going to feel like shit. And yeah. I would autopilot to Starbucks. Yeah, I mean it's no different than autopiloting like what's it called, a packet of Oreos into your gob or whatever. It's everything is just a taught behavior, and we can unteach ourselves with a little bit of awareness and a little bit of work on it. But it's entirely possible. Yeah, I cut to 2.5 cuts back to 6 cups. Yeah. That's probably good. And I was drinking 12 to 20 cups per day. Yeah. So going from like 12 to 20 cups to 2.5, I mean, you are going to react to that because the caffeine that you're going to get from 2.5 cups, it's not going to do enough for you. It's definitely not going to keep the headaches away, etc. So in this case, like going, even half it, if you did that all at once, you might still feel pretty shitty. So I would just try to go very, very slow. And for some people, it's really difficult, even like towards the end, but you can just go like half cups every 2, 3 days, see how it goes. And if you start getting a lot of symptoms, then you just increase it a little bit again and just give your system a bit of time to get used to the new thing. There's no need to, we're so impatient a lot of the time, but there's no need to be that impatient, because it's like, you're going to do this, then you're going to finish it, you're going to feel better, and you never have to increase it again. So why not just do it and actually feel good while you're doing it, rather than rushing through it and then feeling like shit. My phone is finally charged. Lol, I will rewatch. Well, it's good to see your face, even if it's just your avatar. It's all good. I don't know if we. Well, I suppose there were some questions and me talking about an interview in May that I'm gonna have, that I'm super excited about. It's like when you find like a kindred spirit, you're like, oh my god, someone else believes what I believe, and they're doing it, and they're helping people the same way that I do. I get so excited because it's yeah, it's so unnecessary what we're putting ourselves through. There's so much pain caused by us not doing what we want to do, and then thinking that we can't change that. So and then I think just thinking that I have to be 100% abstinent when I quit, I think that is something that is stopping a lot of people from even trying, because I wasn't ready to quit 100% for a long time. My brain would freak out if I was thinking about not having sugar ever again. My brain would be like, what? That's not going to happen. Nope, 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 nope. We can't do that. So if that was like the only alternative, I would never get ready or be willing to just like start a program and thinking that, or I would start it and hope that I would change my mind, and then I would freak out probably. But if you can go into it and you're like, okay, maybe I need to be abstinent for a little while I'm building this skill, and then I actually don't have to do any of that, because I can learn how to not do it. I can learn how to manage the cravings. I can learn how to not actually feel addicted to the sugar or the carbs. And that was something that he said. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I think it was about drinking alcohol. He said, like, I can go for a drink with my friends now. That's not a problem. It's never going to take me off. It's not relevant. He just wants to have a drink because it's a social thing. And he's like, it's just like eating a banana. And I know it's the wrong thing to bring up in this community, maybe, because some people here might be triggered by bananas, but it's like, it's just a drink. It's what I was saying earlier for my birthday. I ate a freaking burger. It's just a burger. It's just a burger bun. Like, it's not the end of the freaking world. It's just a meal. One meal out of the two that I had that day. One meal out of all the meals that I have had up until now, this whole year, that hasn't been according to my food rules, the foods that I normally eat. It means fuck all. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me emotionally. And you can do that with alcohol. Now, this is something I really want to ask him about with drugs. Like, yeah, he's been doing mushrooms, and I can see how that would work, but like, would anyone, I mean, no one would probably be interested in taking a microdose of heroin. Like, it's not going to do anything for anyone. But I'm wondering, like, how would that work? Like, that's something that I would like to ask him about. Like, what does he think? Like, where's the line? What kind of drugs would you be able to do a non-abstinent based recovery with? And what drugs would you not be able to do that? I would love to ask him that. That would be so interesting to see what he says about it. And I think if you're doing anything, but you're not doing it because you're chasing the high, you're probably going to be okay, because you're going to think about it so differently. It's not like I ate the burger because I was chasing a high. I just ate the burger because I was like, yeah, I'm just going to enjoy this meal. I'm going to have a good time when we're out, and it's my freaking birthday. No big deal. My boss called and I forgot. It pauses this rather than just mute. Got off phone and thought, damn, they're still talking about mushrooms. Excellent. Yep, still talking about mushrooms. We'll talk about mushrooms forever. I always have the mindset I can eat whatever I want when I want. Then look at the garbage food in the store, and the mind goes carbs, fructose, seed oils, heart attack, and I walk past it. Works well. That's kind of funny because I see food a bit like that as well. It's like as soon as I see anything that has vegetable oil in it, and I haven't eaten vegetable oils unless it's kind of like I've had, let's say I've had something deep fried or whatever, which have doesn't. I mean, even when I wasn't 100%, abstinent from crap, then every now and then, and I'm talking like once or twice a year, maybe I would have something that had been deep fried. But in general, I don't eat it, and I haven't eaten seed oils for probably about 17 years. So it's a long time. Or it's probably more than 17 years because I cut out seed oils well before I did keto, so probably 20, 25 years. Um, but yeah, when I see anything, I'm just like, if I look at any product that is a product in the supermarket, I just look at the packet. If it says seed oils, I'm like, gone. I might actually have accidentally bought it just came to mind now, like crushed chili that was mixed with some freaking seed oil at one point. But in general, I don't actually do that. A microdose of heroin would re-trigger my drug addiction. Yeah, that's interesting. But I'm gonna be honest, Miss Pagan, you haven't done the work that you need to do. Narcotics are no for me. I struggled for years with that addiction. Yeah. Yeah. I think if I had, let's say I would just have stopped because I was abstinent and I hadn't done the work on actually rewiring my brain to think on purpose and do the things that I'm doing now, I don't think, I mean, I would fall off as well because I wouldn't know how to handle it. That's why I want to ask him because he's doing work with people and actually helping them rewire their brains around how they're thinking about things and go through and addressing the trauma, which is not something that I do because I'm not trained to do that. I understand how it works, but I wouldn't feel confident that I'm the right person to help people go through like severe trauma or anything. Would a food-based microdose be like a single blueberry or what? I mean, do you have a blueberry addiction? You can't, if you're addicted to chocolate, I don't think you can have a microdose like a blueberry and think that that is the same thing. If I'm addicted to chocolate, a microdose might be like one little square of chocolate, for example. Or if ice cream is your thing, maybe like a couple of spoonfuls or however much you choose to eat, but kind of what do we call it? A limited amount that you decide on beforehand so that you know when to stop. Yes, plant oils are for candles and soap. Perfect. Or for your engine if your name is Rick. Yes. And squeaky doors. It's so hard to find products at the store not full of crap. Yeah, it's almost impossible. Um, I'm thinking. I mean, now I'm ordering most groceries online, but what I'm ordering, I do order blueberries, yogurt, um, lots and lots of eggs. I had a horrible egg week last week. First, I ordered some eggs, and they sent me 10 eggs, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? This is not what I ordered. I ordered 24, I think, but they sent me 10." So then I ordered 40 eggs, and they didn't send me any. We're out of stock. They couldn't replace them with some other fucking eggs, apparently. So that was freaking annoying. So I didn't have coffee for several days because I didn't have any eggs. And I was like, okay, I don't have anything else to order, and I'm paying for like delivery, but like a monthly fee. But even if you do, you have to order for more than X amount of money. So I ordered 80 eggs. And I got 80 eggs, so now I have 60 left. I have consumed 20 eggs since, what is it today? When I think I had them delivered on Sunday and it's Wednesday now. So in 3 days, I've consumed 20 eggs. I'm making up for the egg shortage I had. But yeah, I had a horrible egg week, and I can't wait until I can have my ducks and my chickens and just get my own freaking eggs and not be dependent on the supermarket. So yeah, I'm ordering mostly just like real foods, but even so, if it's sometimes they replace the yogurt with some other yogurt and substitute it when it's out, and it's always like thickeners and shit in there, and it pisses me off. Anyhow, I'm not gonna be here and just moan about shit. I do have a lot of unresolved trauma that I'm still working through. Yeah, most people probably do. I have a blueberry addiction. My son hides them from me. Okay, yeah, if you have a blueberry addiction, just like having a few spoons of blueberries, that could be like, if you, I wouldn't call it microdosing, but it could be a way of just reintroducing them and see if you can do that. But do it in a very specific way. Like, we don't want to just, okay, I'm going to go eat blueberries and do it mindlessly, because that's not going to help you in any sort of way. We need to do it in a very mindful way and then keep doing that and do everything with awareness. I have a lot of more mental work to do in general. Oh, God, don't we all? I need to make more yogurt. I need to make a lot of stuff. Are you busy? Again? Send me some eggs. Thank you, Steph. Love you. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I don't know. Pagan bacon grease candles are nice. Makes company upset there's not actually bacon. That's freaking awesome. I need to make more. What's it called? Bacon candles. I have used bacon. Well, bacon, but mostly beef fat. But depending on what cut it is, when I'm saving it, and the last time I made some candles, it was just not getting hard enough. So they're kind of like it's too much unsaturated fats in there, and I just literally have fat and a wick, and I'm burning them, so I'm not adding anything else to actually make them firm. So that's a learning process, but they burn fine. It's just not ideal. Oh, another one. Thank you. Super stickers all the way around. My microdosing is 20 grams, and then suddenly 500 gram is gone. Yeah. So that's like eating with unawareness. That's not how you do it. So when you want to, the first thing you need to do is to learn how to actually process cravings, how to manage the cravings. And then when you're confident with that, you can do that, then you start reintroducing it, because you know how to handle it. If you get cravings, you do know that you don't have to give in. And you practice at the point of where you said, okay, I'm going to have 20 grams. When you're eating 20 grams, you finished. You know that you finished. You just expect it to be uncomfortable, and you do allow yourself to feel uncomfortable, and you just go through that whole process. So it's not like I'm just like, okay, go and eat chocolate, come back next week and tell me how great it was. It's a whole process that we go through. It's laid out in a way that it will empower you. It will not let you fail. Unless you're like, oh, I'm not going to do this, I'm just going to eat. Yeah, sure, of course you can fail. But I haven't had anyone actually going into the exception challenge and fail. I have people falling off the wagon to the left and to the right, especially in the beginning. But I also think that that is necessary, because if you don't, you will never learn from those mistakes, and then it's going to be hard to overcome them and move forward. So I think they are a necessary part of the process, but no one has ever failed while they're doing the exception challenge, because we go into the challenge and the goal is that this is what I'm going to do. They have a different focus, and then they do it, and then you feel great. So the failing doesn't happen when we do the challenge. The failing happens at other points in time. I'm trying to think if anyone has. No, I can't recall anyone having got so many cravings that they failed like the day after or a couple of days after having done the challenge either. I think we just bring so much awareness to it that we know that this is going to happen, and I know that I'm going to have more cravings. So everyone's prepared for that. It's when we let the guard down and we're not prepared, and when we think, yeah, I got this, I don't have to think about it, that's when we usually fail. Ugh, always busy, and I have a baby attached most of the time now. I love bacon grease in lip balm. Yes. So you popped it out and now it's attached anyway. There's no win, is there? Thank you, you're the best. Have an awesome day. I gotta stop procrastinating. Homework, lol. Business, finance, calling. Have an awesome day, everyone. Thank you, Steph. I love you too. And good luck with your studies. With or without coffee, you can get through it. And that's pretty good because that's the last question. And if we stop now, I have a few minutes before my next call, which would be great because I'm quite thirsty and I need to get a drink. So that's perfect. There was something that I wanted to tell you, and I completely forgot about what that was. But I can tell you something else that I wasn't going to tell you. When it comes to the gut brain healing community, the limbic training, there's still a few days left because March is free. But if you want to join that and you want a 10% discount in April, there is a discount code which I have posted on my Instagram. I posted it in the Facebook group, but if you can't find it, let me know and I will post it somewhere else. I could actually put it into the description in hindsight on YouTube. In the video description, I will put that link instead so that you can get your discount. If you want to become a member or if you're already a member, use that link to sign up and make your payment and you'll get 10% off. Thank you, Jim. You are welcome. Okay, guys, have a really freaking good day. Take responsibility for your lives. Do what you want to do and just enjoy the fuck out of it. And I'll see you again next week. Bye.